Primals, I'm making this video to apologize. Because I f***ed up. Because I'm embarrassed and ashamed. Because I lied. And I misled a lot of people.
Yeah, you did. I'm a doctor. Let's get into it.
I've stated that this is a complicated as topic, at least to me it is, because before social media, I was rich and anonymous, and after social media, I'm still rich, but no longer anonymous, and I never expected this kind of exposure in the public eye.
This is Brian Johnson, otherwise known as the Liver King. You may have seen his viral videos on social media where he promotes what he calls an ancestral lifestyle. And during this lifestyle, he eats a diet that, well, just look for yourself.
And here's what we're having for dinner tonight. Of course, we're gonna start off with some liver because, say it with me, liver is king. We have our testicles because who needs vegetables when you got testicles? A whole roasted, salt-crusted lamb. We of course have some bone marrow.
He's amassed millions of followers and has made millions of dollars selling his ancestral supplements on his online store. Now, he claims in this video that he never meant to be this big social media superstar, but that does not match with some of the emails that were leaked that we're going to go over here pretty shortly. In those emails, he said he was planning to spend a lot of money and use a lot of resources in order to get a huge social media following of upwards of 1 million followers. And so that worked partially because of his absolutely impressive physique. Now, the Liver King never wears a shirt. He loves to show off his physique, especially his nearly impossibly sculpted abs. And whenever anybody asked him whether he has ever taken steroids or whether his body is due to taking anabolic steroids, he always answered with an absolutely not.
Do you think if I was on steroids, I would have these appendages down here, these legs?
Have legs?
Do you see how little my legs are?
I don't touch this stuff. I've never done this stuff. I'm not going to do this stuff.
What stuff?
The ass full of steroids that he talks about.
You've never taken steroids?
Never taken steroids. I've never done PEDs.
The question has always been, do you take steroids? Do you take PEDs? The answer to that is no. I've never taken steroids. I'm not going to take steroids.
But these recently leaked emails have revealed that he spends over $11,000 per month on steroids and other prescription medications to help build up the physique that he currently has. So the word is out, and here is his explanation for it.
Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician.
So exactly what steroids is the Liver King taking? Well, he seems to be implying that what he's taking is relatively minimal and that he is taking these steroids responsibly under the care of a real doctor. But how true is that? And is he lying once again? Anabolic steroids is a general term used for hormones that can increase your muscle mass and your muscle strength. The main anabolic steroid produced by your body is testosterone, and there are doctors prescribing testosterone to men and women every day all throughout the country to help with hormone balance and hormone issues. But there are also designer anabolic steroids, and these are synthetic steroids that are often used by athletes in order to build muscle, increase performance, and to heal faster. That's a bit of a different story. These are not necessarily approved by the FDA, and when they're used in massive quantities, they can have some major side effects. In men, they can shrink your testicles, they can increase acne, they can cause breast tissue to form, and they can promote aggressive behavior, otherwise known as roid rage.
I will talk about it openly because I believe that there's a time and a place for pharmacological intervention monitored and managed by a trained hormone physician. I have tried several peptide combinations in an effort to increase my growth hormone, and it didn't work, meaning that my levels still remained below the normal level. So yes, it's also true that I've tried pharmaceutical grade growth hormone, and I finally found success in managing therapeutic levels in the normal range.
But the question is he taking something that is reasonable and healthy? I mean, he's really making it sound that way, isn't he? Well, in the leaked emails from 2021, he goes into great detail of what he's taking, and it is a lot.
I am shocked. Well, not that shocked.
He was taking $11,000 a month of Omnitrope, And this is a prescription medication that contains human growth hormone, or HGH. It's most commonly used to treat children who have growth failure due to growth hormone deficiency and syndromes like Prader-Willi and Turner syndrome. He's also taking ibutamoren, and this is an experimental drug that has been found to increase the levels of growth hormone and insulin-like growth factor 1. He's also taking Winstrol, which is a type of an anabolic steroid. He's taking testosterone and many others. There's a list that I can show you right up here. And once again, that's a lot that he's taking. I think the important thing to consider here is that he presented himself as a naturally jacked up, larger than life superhero. And that just is not true. He deceived millions of people into thinking that his lifestyle alone and his supplements can create that body that he showed off to all of us. So why did he do this?
Our young men are hurting the most, feeling lost, weak, and submissive. So I made it my job to model, teach, and preach a simple, elegant solution called ancestral living, the 9 ancestral tenets.
So what are these 9 ancestral tenets? And what do I think about them as a holistic plastic surgeon? Well, number 1 tenet is sleep. And one of the things that he definitely encourages is getting good sleep, which is healthy for all of us. So I'm good with that. Number 2 is eat. And one of the things that he encourages is a carnivore diet. And he describes it as horns to hooves, basically eating the whole animal. Now, I do believe in some ways that is a very good thing, and that if we are taking the life of an animal and eating that animal, that to use the whole animal as they do in a lot of cultures, I think actually is very respectful to that creature that gave up its life for us. But on the flip side, what he eats is definitely out there. He promotes a raw meat diet, which can be very, very dangerous. Eating raw meats like he recommends can put you at high risk of major infections. Infections like with Salmonella, Campylobacter, and E. coli. You can also get parasites if you eat raw meat. There's a type of tapeworm that you can get if you eat raw pork or raw beef that can literally grow inside your intestines up to 15 feet in length and stay there for many, many years. I believe that the diet that he is promoting is not healthy in so many ways, and I'm not a fan of it and do not recommend it for anybody. The number 3 ancestral tenet is move, and this is a good thing. We are definitely way too sedentary in our society, and the act of moving, of exercising, of walking, that is great for our body and great for longevity. The number 4 ancestral tenet is shield. One of the things that the Liver King is very concerned about are man-made exposures, like in the products that we use in our house, EMFs, off-gassing from mattresses, toxins in the different types of foods that we eat, as well as in the, let's say, containers and plastic. I do believe that there is some truth to a lot of this. He, I believe, may overblow it quite a bit. Overall, I think that we're exposed to way too much in our modern society, and being exposed to small amounts of some of these products, if they're on their own, like let's say certain plastics or maybe ingredients in skincare products and beauty products, may not be harmful if that's all you're exposed to. Number 5 is connect, and specifically connecting with the earth. One of the big things that Liver King is fond of is grounding, and it's the idea that if you put your bare feet on the ground, that you can actually improve your health by doing that. Well, the jury is out whether that really makes a big difference, but I do think it's important that getting out in nature can definitely be therapeutic for many, many reasons. So for that reason, I am definitely for this type of ancestral tenet. Number 6 is cold, and the Liver King encourages you to expose your body to cold temperatures for short periods of time. There are actually studies and anti-aging experts that totally agree with this. And the idea that if you expose your body to short-term periods of stress, that this can be very good for longevity. So there's definitely science to support this belief. Number 7 is sun. And he recommends getting out and getting some vitamin D and exposing your skin to the sun. And overall, I think this is a good thing. Vitamin D deficiencies are widespread throughout our population, especially in the winter months. And so definitely getting some sun can be very healthy in that manner. And I think it's also good for our mood. But the Liver King, to my understanding, is also anti-sunscreen, which I cannot get behind. I always recommend using an SPF of 30 or greater in order to prevent wrinkles and to prevent future skin cancer. Ancestral tenet number 8 is fight. The Liver King is not recommending that you get in physical altercations, but that you expose yourself to risk. And overall, I think that's a good thing. Not necessarily risk that's going to kill you, but it is good for us to get out of our comfort zone and to do new things. This can help with the concept of neuroplasticity, where our brain actually benefits from doing different types of activities. That overall, I think, is definitely good for our health and our overall longevity. The number 9 ancestral tenet is bond, and it's the idea that getting in a community is very healthy. And I 100% agree with him on this. In fact, if you look at the blue zones, and these are the 5 different zones throughout the world that have the greatest longevity, one of the big traits in all of these zones is a strong sense of community. This is something that we have lost throughout the United States over the last, let's say, 50 to 100 years. So feeling a bond with your community overall is a very healthy thing. So overall, I agree with probably 7 or 8 of the 9 ancestral tenets as a physician, but my main concern with this is how he has taken these ancestral tenets sometimes to the absolute extreme, like with the dietary component.
Nope. I've never had ab implants, ab etching, or any other plastic surgery, and I sure as never actually had gene editing done in Singapore.
So let's take a look at his abs. I'm a plastic surgeon. Are his abs real?
You think this guy's going to get plastic surgery? You think this guy's going to go get liposuction?
I should let you know that I am not Liver King's doctor. I've not treated him, so everything in this video is my opinion only. He has a nearly impossibly sculpted 8-pack. So how can we tell whether his 8-pack is real or whether it's from surgery? Well, in general, there are 2 operations that can create a 6 or an 8-pack in somebody via plastic surgery. You can do it with abdominal etching, otherwise known as high-definition liposuction. And this is where you can liposuction in and around the muscles to cause the muscles to become more accentuated and to make the fat that is left over actually look like muscles. The other way to create essentially a fake 6-pack is to use silicone implants, where these implants are actually inserted into each of those tendinous inscription areas. Now, I would argue that there are 3 things that you can look for to determine whether these operations have been done. The first is you want to compare the definition of the abs to the definition of the rest of the person's body. And this is probably the best way to determine if somebody's had work done there. If the abs are super sculpted and defined, but the rest of their body is kind of flabby and doesn't have definition, then that's a telltale sign that those abs have been made with plastic surgery. At the extreme end of this are people who've undergone ab etching to give them a 6-pack on top of a pot belly. Yes, this actually happens, and it makes the belly look like the shell of a turtle. The second thing to look for is whether the abs are perfectly symmetric. Now, the body is not perfectly symmetric, and the abs usually aren't either. So if a person has a perfectly symmetric 6 or 8-pack, that just might be a sign that those abs are not completely natural. And the third way to tell whether somebody may have fake abs is to look and see how those abs change when the person coughs, when they talk, when they relax their tummy and make various movements. If those abs basically stay looking hard all the time, no matter what that person is doing, then there's a likelihood that those abs just might be fake. So now let's look at the Liver King. Although he is jacked up and muscular, I would argue that his abs have significantly more definition than the muscles of the rest of his body. His abs are also perfectly symmetric. He doesn't have an area where they just kind of don't match one side to the other. And they don't seem to move at all or change at all depending on what he's doing. They always look rock hard and immobile all the time. And take a close look at the upper abs. There's like these 2 unusual upper ab kind of muscles, I think. To me, these don't look natural, and muscles usually are not there. That's usually more part of the rib cage. So overall, I do believe it's possible that the Liver King underwent plastic surgery, whether it's via abdominal etching or ab implants, to give him the defined abs that he shows off today. But, however, there is one major thing that may disprove my theory that he's had plastic surgery on his abs. If you look at these leaked emails, one thing that he does complain about more than once is that he cannot get rid of the fat of his love handles. Well, removing fat from the love handles is a very simple liposuction operation. And if he were to go through the process of having his abs sculpted and either implants put in or liposuction and etching performed, why wouldn't he have lipo done of the love handles? It's such an easy procedure. To me, it's a no-brainer that he would do that as well. So because it doesn't sound like he has had liposuction done to his love handles, makes me wonder if maybe he is telling the truth and his abs are actually real. Now, although the Liver King denies having plastic surgery done to his abs, there is a young man who admits to having plastic surgery done to his abs, to his chest, to his biceps, to his triceps, and pretty much every other body part. Believe it or not, he wants to look like a real-life Ken doll. Is that even more frightening than the Liver King? Well, take a peek at this video right up here where I react to everything that he's had done and what he wants to do next. And remember, eat real food, use clean skincare, and only consider actual plastic surgery as a last resort.